I'm Tracy Welch alongside Eileen Dugas. Each week, we invite guests on the show to talk about resources, events, topics, and what's happening in and around the South Coast LGBTQ plus community. Welcome, Eileen.
Hi, Tracy. Welcome, everyone. My name is Eileen Dugas. I'm the network coordinator for the South Coast LGBTQ plus network. The network is a nonprofit organization working with the LGBTQ plus groups and allied organizations to build and maintain a comprehensive network for LGBTQ plus individuals and families in southeastern Massachusetts. So on today's show, we're going to talk about, first and foremost, how everyone's doing. So put some comments in the comment section, and Tracy and I and our guest will be open to answering your questions and interacting with you. We're going to talk about what's happening in the community. We're going to talk about Giving Tuesday is today. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we have a special guest, Kerry Zeida, who's going to talk about updates happening at the South Coast LGBTQ plus network and his role in supporting the network with communicating and connecting with the community. Tracy, do you want to talk about community events?
Oh, definitely. Thanks, Eileen. So we have one social media event happening today, right now. It's called Giving Tuesday Now. Your contribution will help expand programs that the network's doing to help vulnerable LGBTQ people in our community. So this past week, we actually had two hosted events from the network. One was the bingo that Eileen did on Friday. So Eileen, how did that go?
So the bingo, it was a small group for our first time, but it was fun. It was interactive. We got to chat a little bit. We played 3 games of bingo, but it was nice to catch up with some familiar faces in our community. And we also have someone join us from Uxbridge, so that was pretty nice. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that again, and I'll keep you updated when that's going to happen.
Cool beans. The other thing that we had was live yoga, which was amazing on our page. Should we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Nikki is, instead of doing Zoom, she was doing Zoom meetings to hold yoga. She thought she would open it up to Facebook, and she is now holding it Friday nights at 6 live on Facebook. So feel free to join her. It is up on the web on a Facebook page, so you can take a look at it and see what it's all about. It's still up there, but you can join live on Fridays at 6.
Yep, and that's the South Coast LGBTQ Network Facebook page, everybody. And since we're talking about Zoom and live, don't forget about our NB Agley. We have a New Bedford Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth for ages 14 to 24. So our normal meeting night is Thursdays from 5 to 7. So we actually have a Zoom call. So if you're in that age group in the South Coast, just join our NB Agley, a perfect place. Facebook page, and you can kind of join in our Zoom calls. We're doing check-ins with kids, seeing how they're doing, giving some resources, and just talking about different things. A couple weeks ago, we talked about gender identity versus sexual orientation, things like that. So that was kind of cool. Well, I was going to say a couple other things to kind of keep people occupied during this time. We kind of did some research a little bit, and I've seen on Facebook how cool it is that people are doing like chess together. Like I have a game at my house, you have a game at your house, and we're kind of going back and forth playing chess. You can do checkers, you can play Yahtzee together. And please remember to text your friends just to check in, say how you're doing, what's going on. Maybe you want to start a journal, write a poem. I know that sometimes at some of our events, we'll give a shout out to Cody. Cody always writes a poem and comes to our Pride Day and reads one of the poems that he has done. Create a playlist of your favorite music and play it. Kind of take a look at saying, you know what, I have time right now, downtime, and pick some playlists. So when we can go out and about, you can pop that in your car and be ready to go. Organize or reorganize some closets, some rooms in your house. Our NB Agley Youth Group and other organizations in the South Coast are looking for donations all the time for kids and for homeless folks in general. And we can help you, hook you up to some resources for that to be able to drop off donations. A couple other things besides our Facebook page, the South Coast LGBTQ Network. I actually use the What's Happening Southeastern Mass Facebook page. This week they actually had Westport launches Monday Food Pantry and a beef stew. Here comes my cat. Sorry guys, it's live. That was Edelman. They actually have a beef stew recipe for folks that like to cook and all that good stuff. And I also use Coastin', your guide to creative South Coast. They promote a lot of art in our community. If you go on their Facebook page, they're actually having a virtual cabaret show. There's a lot of things you guys can do besides, obviously, we want you to watch our page and the network page and things like that. But kind of take a look outside the box. Look at your hometown Facebook page that you haven't been on. I did that today. My dad was a cop in Franklin, so I clicked on the Franklin cop link and the Franklin Matters page. So kind of take a look at, what your hometown's doing, what's going on, in and around the community, but, keep yourself busy. So go ahead, Eileen.
Yeah, so I've been doing some gardening and a lot of cooking in my free time. And I know I'm going to talk to Kerry a little bit about something that we both baked later. But yeah, I think gardening has become a way for me to relax. It's if you've never done gardening, you can do it in containers. You don't have to have a big yard. And it's something that I've been definitely starting to get more involved with, and it's pretty relaxing once you start and have to maintain that. Something to look forward to every day. But now I want to check out our comments. We have Antonio Pereira. Hi, how are you? Richard Pedroza. Hi. Bruce. Hi. Bruce is from Swansea. Steve Gillis says, teach them Trump is the greatest president ever and not to be snowflakes. Okay. And Hollis Costa says, hi from New Bedford. So I just wanted to check in with those. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hi, Danita. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
Oh, Wisconsin just popped in.
Who?
Danita's from Wisconsin.
Oh. Hi,
right?
Kate. How are you? I see Kate is watching. So if you have questions for us tonight, things you want us to know, hi, Nate. Please feel free to put it in the comment section.
Definitely.
And we will definitely get to it. So tonight we have Kerry Zeida with us, and he's going to talk about how he became involved with the network, what we're in the process of doing, what we're looking forward to, and how he got back to the community. So welcome, Kerry. How are you?
Ladies, hello. How are we doing?
I'm doing well.
Cool.
Love your show.
Yeah, we're glad to be back. Shout out to the Bedford Guide, definitely.
Yeah. So, Kerry, before we start into the topics of you and what you're doing with the network, I have to ask you, so did you make this peanut butter bread?
I know, right? It's funny. I think people are finding all kinds of ways to be creative while we're stuck at home. I love to bake, and even before the whole pandemic situation hit, and you and I were talking about this last week, and one of the recipes making the rounds is this peanut butter bread. It's from Old South cookbook or something where there are only 5 or 6 ingredients, super simple, one bowl, in and out in 45 minutes. And it's surprisingly good. I tend to find myself favoring recipes that got a lot of eggs, a lot of butter, a little more complicated, but this was really good. And it's something I probably wouldn't have discovered if I weren't trapped behind my computer monitor for so long every day,
Yeah, surprisingly, I made it this weekend, and everyone who tried it here at my house loved it. I added some chocolate chips. I'm not going to lie.
Beautiful.
Put the chocolate chips in there, and they loved it. But I just wanted to touch base because we had spoke about that.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Tracy, do you want to start with a question for Kerry?
Well, yeah. So what was your view on the LGBT community before you moved away versus now? We knew that you lived in San Francisco, you lived in Philadelphia. So what was it like, here before you left and then now? And then compare it to San Fran.
Yeah. Well, I'm born and raised here. I live in Dartmouth. All of my family and most of my closest friends are still nearby. So it's great to be back here and resettled here after spending, almost 20 years on the West Coast. As you said, I moved out to San Francisco back in the late 90s now so that I could work in the tech industry. That's my background, technology marketing. And I worked for a big Japanese computer company called NEC at first. And then I went to work for Adobe, and I ended up at Microsoft in Seattle. before moving back to the East Coast and spending, as you say, a little bit of time in Philadelphia. So most of my experience has been limited, if you will, to bigger cities where, you know, LGBTQ culture is more visible, more present, and there are more resources to support it. So I'm a little embarrassed to say I didn't really know very much about the South Coast LGBTQ community before coming back and before connecting with friends like Andy Pollock, who's the network president, and now, of course, meeting you and everybody else involved in community work here. So, yeah, I didn't really know too much about it, and I'm surprised and I'm delighted to see that there are so many services, so much education, so much information available to help people here do what they need to do and not have to feel like they have to go to Boston or Providence or New York to get the kind of information and services they want.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what you left New Bedford to pursue a career in IT, technology, marketing, that type of thing.
Mhm.
And so, what was you mentioned your big job in San Francisco. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience there, what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't as, I mean, it was pretty much the beginning of the technology revolution, for lack of a better expression. I mean, literally, when I started my career in tech marketing, it was the era of the personal computer. I mean, it's that far back already, and you know, things like cloud computing, and even the technology that we're using today to talk to each other as if we're sitting in the same room. You know, it's just a dream 20 years ago. So it was very exciting to be there when it was all starting to happen for the first time. And, you know, I've been very fortunate in my career to see the evolution of technology from being something that's primarily on the desktop to something you can access anywhere, including on this, you know, this little phone that we're all, you know, glued to every day. So, you know, it's been very cool. And, you know, the marketing function and the marketing profession is filled with creative people. And I've been very lucky, very fortunate to be around a lot of very creative people in my career. And I've learned a lot about gay culture through my interaction with creative professionals, not just in San Francisco, but everywhere I've worked.
So one of the things that we're glad that you're have joined the network, and if you guys don't know, Kerry joined our board, that he's been working on the marketing pieces, the website and things like that. So one of the reasons why we wanted to have Kerry come on the show is to talk about the resources and what's behind the scenes stuff with the website. You want to?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, I see job one here, having been involved with the network for a couple of months now, is we've spent a lot of time as a team trying to figure out what we stand for and, you know, what our value proposition is and how people can, you know, use the services that we help connect them to. And so for me, I think job one is going to be to overhaul our website and turn it into more of an interactive resource for people. I feel like we need to beef up our social media presence because that's an obvious way people can connect and share experiences. And I think, you know, expanding the programs and the partnerships that you guys have already done such an amazing job establishing on the South Coast so that, again, people can, you know, get the information they need to succeed. I think that it's a real challenge for all of us now, but particularly for the LGBTQ community, especially during the COVID-19 crisis, because a disproportionate number of members of our community work in jobs that are affected by the pandemic. So we're talking about jobs in restaurants and food services. We're talking about hospitals, K-12, higher education, and of course, retail. So I think it's really important that everybody in the family here can get what they need so that they can make good decisions, you know, and we can all come out of the other side of this stronger and better informed than we were before.
Yes, Kerry, you made an excellent point about how the LGBTQ community has been impacted by this. So one thing that this pandemic has made us do is become more creative in providing supports to the LGBTQ community in general. So many LGBTQ individuals don't have a support system and count on us, the network, for support as far as youth groups, Pride Cafe, watching The Voice, however they get support. And we had to really quickly figure out how we could continue to do that in a virtual format. But it still leaves some people without support because they're not in a safe place, or they feel they're not in a safe place where they can actually have conversation out loud in their home without others overhearing them. And so they may be feeling pretty isolated. So that's a great point. But also, it's a great growing opportunity for us to learn about technology, virtual meetings, virtual groups, virtual bingo, virtual yoga, and continue to provide that support.
And I think that's one of the reasons. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Kerry.
go ahead, Trace. No, that's okay.
I was just going to say that's one of the reasons that when we have our events, we ask everybody, can you give us your email address? As people are like, oh, I'll get you on social media. I'll see you that way. But in times like this, it would be nice for us to be able to send these emails out to folks. Hey, we're here. We have people that can call in on you. Would you like that from us? And that's one of the things that the network's done through this. We've been calling people or emailing and just say, how can we help you? Can we get you the resources? And, what can we do for you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I was just going to say that there's an irony here a little bit, because even though many of us are confined and quarantined and inside and kind of limited in how we can be together in person, there are just so many resources online. Like I said earlier, not just for education, but for entertainment, for self-care, which is extremely important, and connections, virtual connections that we didn't have before. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm very focused when I'm in Zoom meetings and in forums like this one on trying to connect with somebody, even though I'm not in the same physical space. So, hopefully there's a silver lining here, and hopefully through the work that the network is doing, we can help people in our area really start to become aware of what's available to support them once the pandemic is passed or is more manageable.
Yeah. I want to go down to these comments here. So, Danita, hi, how are you? Carice, Heather, Souza, Charette, watching from Fall River. Heather's asking if she can help with any of the emailing or calling. Do we need more help? Heather, we will definitely be having an volunteer orientation. But for now, if you go on our website, there's a volunteer button. You can click that, fill out your information, and I will definitely be in touch with you.
Heather's one of our allies in the community.
Let's see. Kerry, so you left New Bedford. You went out in the great big world.
Yes.
And big cities, and you came back. What made you come back?
I don't know. I think getting older and wanting to be closer to family and friends. As I said at the opening, they're all still here. I'm very lucky in that sense. Both of my parents are still with us. Unfortunately, my mom is in a nursing home. She's been there for more than 3 years now, and that's scary, to say the least. Dad's healthy. But, I kind of saw it as my role and my responsibility to be here to help them in this, latter stage of their life. They've been so helpful to me and instrumental in my success. So there's that. And, I just feel like having gone out and learned a lot about not just marketing, but about queer culture, that I wanted to share some of those experiences and use some of my expertise, if you will, to, kickstart, to jumpstart, to accelerate the progress that you guys have been making in the network in really what's been a very short period of time, because there's a need here and there's a gap here. And I think that, together we can make the network a resource that people seek out, that provides stuff that they might not otherwise have access to.
I mean, it's amazing. I actually got a private message on Facebook the other day of an 18-year-old sex traffic worker, and somebody was looking for housing for this young person. And then I had to, send the message back: is it a male or female? Kind of, set the ball and set the ball rolling. But it's amazing that people do reach out to us as a source, as a resource, which has been amazing for us.
Definitely. And we want people to come to us, especially, if you need assistance or if you have new ideas. We always want to hear new ideas or new ways we can support the community. Please reach out to us. Let us know what you need or how we can support you anytime. We have Tracy's email is up. Mine is Eileen@sclgbtqnetwork.org.
I decided to do that this week. I got smart this week.
And reach out to us, call us. The network number is on the website. So feel free to reach out with any ideas or any support you need.
Or join a committee, right? On the website, we have events committee, we have development and fundraising, we have social justice, and now we have a marketing. So there's so many different committees and things that people can join to kind of say, you know what, I got some time, or maybe I got this, or maybe I got that. Maybe you do a door at an event. There's just so many things that people think, oh, it takes so much time. We have volunteers that just come on Pride Day, one day a year. I'm like, I'll take that, right, Eileen? What do we got? 30 that show up that day? Well, damn, I'll take that anytime.
Yes.
So, Kerry, you have a story about a drag queen that you knew 20 years ago. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny. When I was vice president of communications for this computer company in Boxborough, Massachusetts, and we were launching a notebook computer, big bulky one, nothing like the iPads or that people are using today, obviously, but very early stage of portable computing. And the goal was to communicate how versatile this product was. It was called the Versa. And so we went around and we tried to identify people who were very versatile personalities. And so the comedian Jerry Lewis was one. Tracy Ullman, for those of you who recall Tracy, is a very versatile performer. We had an Olympic decathlete as one of the people in the campaign. And we had RuPaul. So the challenge, of course, 20 years ago was I don't think culture was quite where it is today, where featuring a drag queen in a mainstream marketing campaign was something you'd see every day. And so it made me smile when I was talking to you about my background and what I could share tonight, to realize that it was more than 20 years ago that I had the fortune to feature RuPaul in a big advertising campaign for a notebook computer, and just to recall the challenges of trying to get that campaign approved. And ultimately, I was really pleased and really very proud of management at the company where I was working for recognizing the opportunity to broaden the message and to share it with a bigger group of people. So it was a nice recollection for me, and thank you for asking me about that.
I remember little things sometimes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago, that was a huge feat to get that, just even to be acknowledged, never mind considered for a campaign.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was bold, but I also knew it needed to be done, and it was just a very exciting period for me in my career.
It's amazing. My dad was a cop in Franklin. I said that earlier, and he used to do events at Schaefer Stadium, which is now Gillette. And Elton John had played there years ago, and everybody boycotted. Again, I was a kid, everybody boycotted, and my dad came home with all these Elton John t-shirts because they didn't sell them. So I was like, just t-shirts around the house, Could you imagine if I had kept it today? Oh my God.
I know, right? Yeah.
So, Kerry, before we let you go today, I wanted to ask, how did you get involved with the network? How did you get reconnected to the network when you got back to the community? And what are your hopes for the network moving forward?
Yeah, well, by chance, quite honestly, I went to elementary school with Andy Pollock, who's the network president, and he was literally in my neighborhood as part of his work for the Coastal Neighbors Network, where they help the elderly with different things. And Andy was across the street, and we connected really by random. And after a couple of conversations, he explained what the LGBTQ network was about. He asked me if I'd be willing to sit in on a couple of marketing meetings because you guys were trying to figure out what this year looked like. And I came, as you know, sat in, and I was just really, first of all, I didn't know any of these things, any of these services, any of these resources even existed. So that was eye-opening to me. And so I was impressed with the work that was being done. And I was really, frankly, very, very taken with the dedication of the people involved in the network, you two in particular. And it just really felt like
It felt like home.
it did.
So,
I mean, I know it's a little corny,
yeah.
but it's true. It just felt like
Yeah.
a really good moment in time to want to get involved. And so, yeah, I think it was a chance connection. And I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The important thing here is for people in our community to understand that there are people here to help them and that you're not alone. And, we're here to provide the information, the education, and the inspiration, hopefully, you need to go out and live your life authentically and freely and hopefully without judgment. It's important work. It's not work that's ever going to stop, but we're trying to give some agency to it, and we're trying to connect people into it. And so, I always say that if you can just change one person's life with the work that you do, then it's worth it. If we can change more people's lives with good work and an organized effort, then I'll be very, very pleased with that.
We got a couple comments, Eileen.
Yeah, so Kate says the network has done some amazing things. As much as you offer out, you are a known resource.
Yeah, and
Russell,
Kate actually comes to our Pride as a volunteer and has a booth, which is amazing. Shout out to Kate.
Nice.
Yeah. She does a lot of great work in the community with youth as well.
Yeah.
So she's out there working with the youth, and I bet she can't wait to get back out there working with youth again. Russell says the gay community needs cooler people. I don't know who those cooler people are, but I don't know. And Valentina is here from New Bedford, and my Aunt Laurie is here. Hi, Auntie Laurie. I think that's all. Did I miss any?
I know, keep going back up. Make sure we didn't hit any. Yeah, cool.
Tracy, did you have any other questions for Kerry?
No. Thank you for joining the board. We're excited to where we're going.
Thank you for having me.
We're always looking for more volunteers and whatnot. But I did want to talk about one more event, Eileen.
Yeah, so Tracy, let's see what we have. We have a few events. Well, let's see. We have one confirmed event coming up.
Yeah. So I want to talk to everybody. One of the reasons that next week's guest on our show, Paula Shiner from Coastline Elderly, they're going to be talking about how they're handling COVID-19. So when we found out about the documentary A Secret Love, we said, well, why don't we watch it separately? It started the 29th. We watch it in our homes. It's on Netflix. And we're hosting a Zoom watch party on Monday at 7. So we're going to talk about the movie, what you thought about it. We're hoping you could join us. Eileen and I will be on the call. And the link to sign up is on our Facebook page, the South Coast LGBTQ Network. We thought it was important to kind of link the two a little bit together and say a love story about people that have been together for 70 years and how amazing that is. And then talk to Paula on Tuesday's show. So that's all I had, Eileen. What you got?
So I just want to add about when you sign up to join that group, A Secret Love chat, you will get a response email. And in that email will be the link to join the Zoom call. When you enter the Zoom call, you'll be placed in a waiting area, and then someone will have to let you in. And the reason we do that is to make sure that it's a safe environment for everyone to talk, freely about the movie and what their views and opinions were of that. So I just want you to know, check your response email, because that's where the link is to join that Zoom call.
Yeah,
And
I was just
go
saying,
ahead.
because we just like to facilitate it. And again, make sure that people feel safe enough to call in. You know our faces, we're here. And well, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of talk about that. And hopefully we'll be able to pick more movies. And I know Eileen is working on the book, virtual book thing right now.
Definitely.
So,
Kerry, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for welcoming me into this community and into the network. I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of people and being a bigger part of the community than I was growing up. There's a lot of opportunity here, and it's very exciting time for all of us.
Cool beans.
And thank you, Kerry. The last few months we've been working together on a lot of things behind the scenes. Pretty soon you'll see a brand new website, revamped, looking beautiful, a lot of hard work by Kerry. So thank you for that. Thank you for supporting us with that process. And welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And so, Tracy, any last comments?
Nope, just we'll see you next week. Thanks, y'all.
Yes. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you either on Monday for the Zoom chat or Tuesday at 7. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Stay healthy.
Bye now. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.